love about Richland is that when I got here, well, firstly, I got saved in this church, May of 2016, and so many men and women who are at this church who have just become a part of my family, who poured their hearts, their faith, their time, their efforts, and what they have into me to put me where I am today in my relationship with Christ.
What I love about Richland is that, first of all, the gospel gets preached every single week, and we can talk about the gospel every single week at family groups, and that's the reason that this church continues to grow. The other big reason that I love Richland is because it is our family, and whenever I came here for the first time as an 18-year-old college freshman, it was just amazing how the people that were here just embraced me as their own. The Humphreys were I knew Katie, and that's who invited me, and that's why I started coming. But then I remember on my 19th birthday, it was a Wednesday night, and Judy Borman had made me an angel food cake with icing and homemade, and surprised me, and it was just so cool to just be loved that way. And so, being here for 12 years, there's obviously a lot of life changes happened since. Met Jake. Jake got saved. Jake became the man that I could marry. And then we had Jean, and now it's so special to get to see how loved Jean is in this church too. All right, so since we live in Columbia, whenever we first got married, we talked about, okay, should we maybe start not driving 35 minutes to church every week? But we decided that no, Richland was where we should stay. And so then whenever Colby came and did the lunch and learn after church that one week, I immediately felt like, well, this is why God didn't have us go plug into a Columbia church. God was having us wait on this. And so with Preston talking so much about and us praying about every week Richland potentially doing a church plant in Columbia, and then the fact that we live in Columbia, we felt like this is what God had been waiting on. We've been waiting for this, and that God was preparing us for this.
I would say Richland has prepared me personally because it has shown me what a church family looks like and how they do pour everything into people. There's so many people here like Nick, Alan Tippett, Scott, Ron, our deacon group. There's so many people that, and like Casey said, the Humphreys that showed us what church family is.
This has really prepared me to do this because it's shown me that working in the church is a privilege and a blessing. God doesn't need us. We get to be used by him. We started teaching middle school Sunday school 2 years ago.
Probably.
And I just think about the huge blessing that's been, and how Tammy was getting all of that before we started. And the fact that we joined, now we get to have such a blessing from being with those youth every single week. And the same thing, we're leaving, God doesn't need us. He's got people to replace us in the jobs that we're in. And now we're going to the King's Church, and if we didn't join this, God would use someone else. He's not limited by our obedience or disobedience, but we get to enjoy the blessings of being in his will whenever we are in a church.
How many lost people there really are out there?
I think, that's the big one, is there are so many lost people everywhere. And so whether it's Columbia or Cowley County, or you're going on a short-term trip to go encourage a long-term missionary, it's vitally important. And like I said earlier too, you're missing out whenever you're not going. This is what we're created to do. It's what we're called to do, each and every one of us. And so whenever we don't do it, we miss out on God's work. And it's so cool to see that God is at work in all these other places. The King's Church, there's already a few young men that want to be baptized whenever we have our first actual launch week, that there's a couple people that already want to be baptized. So God's at work. It's just, do you want to join him or not?
Thank you to our church family. We love you guys dearly. I've spent the last 10 years at this church. I got saved at this church. In my heart, this will always be pretty much my home church because I got saved here, and you guys won't be able to get rid of us that easy.
And I want to say a huge thank you to our middle school family group, that you guys are You guys are, there's a group of you that are so mature in Christ for your age, and I'm so excited to see how God's going to use you as you continue to grow. Yeah, like Jake said, we're not going away that easy, but thank you to y'all are our church family, and we love you, and we thank you for loving Jean, and Jean loves you too, even though she's whining right